This is the video for Chem 223, Lab 6, Atomic Emission Spectroscopy. We'll start by making standards of the 8 analytes of interest. This lab is completely qualitative, meaning it has no quantitative components. Therefore, when we're making the standards, we don't need to measure anything out. For the video, we're using much larger test tubes than you'll be using for the lab. This is so that it's easier for you to see. Make sure to label all of your standards before starting so you don't mix up the test tubes. We'll start by taking a spatula and dispensing a scoop of each standard into its own test tube. If you use the same spatula for each standard, make sure to wipe it down with a Kim wipe before using it in a new bottle. Once we've dispensed each of the analytes into its own test tube, we'll add water. Notice again we're not adding a specific amount of water, we're just filling these test tubes up until the water level is near the top of the test tube. We're using chloride salts of each of the metals, and all of these salts are fairly soluble, so you likely won't need to stir the solutions. Once all of the standards have been prepared, we're ready for analysis. Here's a quick image of our nebulizer. You'll load your sample into this tube hanging out of the fume hood. To do this, you simply put the tube into your sample, and then air flowed through this line will suck your sample up and turn it into a fine mist in this piece of white plastic tubing known as the nebulizing chamber. Droplets that are small enough will then travel through this clear plastic tubing into the base of a Bunsen burner, where those droplets in air will be mixed with methane gas. The methane gas will carry the droplets into the flame. We'll then use this fiber optic cable to transmit any light that may be emitted from the flame to the spectrophotometer. We're not going to need to do much setup on the UV-Vis spectrometer software. However, like the last lab, we will need to save all of our spectra. If you forgot how to save your spectra, please refer to the video from the last lab. Each standard has a different emission intensity, so we'll have to adjust the integration time for each sample. Although the automatic button can get you in a good range, signal from these samples is highly unstable, so I recommend lowering the signal until it's always below an intensity of 3000. You may also want to signal average for 5 to 10 scans. We're now ready to analyze our standards. I'll overlay a video of the flame coming out of the Bunsen burner for you to compare to the emission spectrum. Note the color of each flame in your notebook. Also be sure to save a spectrum for each standard. For this lab, your unknown has been prepared for you. Your unknown may contain between 1 and 3 of the analytes. You should also adjust the integration time to the integration time you used to collect the spectra for barium, calcium, and strontium to confirm whether or not these analytes are present in your unknown as well.